First faction that is not good for the country are the globalist type. They see South Africa as just another outpost for self-enrichment and growing their portfolios. South Africa is more of an asset class than a nation to them. The main figure in this group in South Africa today is a man called Rob Hatsoff. Robert Hatsoff is a prominent South African entrepreneur, private investor, and outspoken political commentator. Born in Johannesburg on October 9th, in 1960, he's a third-generation member of a significant South African business family. His grandfather, Bob Hatsoff, co-founded Anglovol, one of the country's largest mining and industrial conglomerates. In other words, South African old money. It saddens me to put him in this video today because when he first burst onto the scene, it seemed like he was a genuine patriot who had the means, influence, and name to really do something and defend South Africa and was coming from a good place. However, the longer he has gone on for, he has shown himself to be a globalist oligarch. He adopted conservative views and aligned himself with us when he saw how strong this side is and what reach and network we possess online and all over the world.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
He's not a real conservative like the rest of us. He is someone who is using the conservative side and message to fit his ends. That in itself is not the worst thing, because this is politics after all. The issue is that to what end is Rob Hatsoff driving to, especially when he says things like this?
Or the USS Abraham Lincoln does not go back home via the Suez, but heads down here and parks off Durban and Simonstown. That is the only way this place will change. Quick.
Do you think that's even vaguely possible? The USS Abraham Lincoln?
I mean, we're all dreaming of a Venezuela here, aren't we? Imagine if Cyril, Fikile, Julius just got helicoptered out and ended up in orange overalls. Wouldn't that be the great day?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This is something unheard of for a true conservative to say, let alone a patriot. In other words, what he is saying is come and violate our nation's sovereignty. A true conservative would never open up his nation and call for some other nation, let alone a predatory empire, to come in and attack his nation and kidnap its leaders. This is globalist behavior. One of the most reprobate, turncoat, elitist, and disgusting Freemason thinking I've ever seen or heard from a South African public figure.
You're a demon.
For if the US pulls up its aircraft carrier on the coast of Cape Town and starts carrying out military action against our nation or the ANC leaders, as Rob would have it, by that act, we have become occupied by America. Because once something like that begins, it is difficult for them to leave or to stop. They will own this nation. People will revolt and take sides, and when that fighting starts, where do you think Rob will be?
I said, hold up.
I'll tell you. In Dubai, on a beautiful property. In England, on a manor. In Switzerland, in the mountains. In Australia, on the beach, sipping drinks and relaxing, while he signs deals and signs this country away. What deals, you ask? Deals to rebuild the country, of course, because we would have been bombed back into the Stone Age. And with those contracts, Rob Hatsoff and his globalist friends would earn billions. I hate Cyril Ramaphosa with a fire of 1,000 suns, yet I would never advocate for another country to violate our sovereignty. If Cyril is to be dealt with, we South Africans, of all races, should be the ones to do it. History tells us that's the best way, and the best method that citizens of a nation can use is voting him out. Revolts, coups, bombings by predatory empires always leave that country in devastation. And those sort of revolts and coups are just the sort of thing Freemason, oligarch, Epstein class types call for all the time.
You're a demon.
They would call for an empire to strike, knowing full well that they themselves would be in no danger at all. In fact, they would stand to benefit richly from this. Rob and the sort of big business old money elites that are not patriots and seek to use an empire to bring down the ANC are actually risking the sovereignty of South Africa in total. This is low down, it's dirty, and it's evil. They endanger all our lives and will destroy this nation until all that is left is a hollow land only good for natural resources, and holiday resorts. I would say he should be ashamed of himself for even proposing that. However, globalists have no respect for the sacred, they have no respect for life, and no respect for anyone else's freedom but their own. All they want is more.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. We all suspect, we're all pretty sure that Tehran has been funding the ANC. We've all heard the stories. They were bankrupt, couldn't pay their bills, suddenly they had money. Naledi Pandor shuttling back and forward to Iran. There's no doubt in any of our minds, Iran has been funding the ANC. And one condition, which Helen made pretty clear, was the Islamists of the ANC are in charge of DIRCO.
This faction exists because no one is in charge. Thus, they see an open door to run through and take charge. Unfortunately, it is not to the benefit of South Africans. This group does not see South Africans as their countrymen, who they should work with to protect and to grow the nation. That is why they are more than happy to push the white genocide and ask America to sanction South African leaders, knowing that sanctions will not hurt the leaders. They will in fact hurt the average citizen the most.
Imagine you had to close your business because you can't buy the materials to continue. That's the situation Leila Danishvar is facing.
We already had problems in getting the raw materials. Stainless steel mainly it's imported. So already we had problems, and now I can say it's impossible.
US sanctions have meant her manufacturing business is suffering. Sanctions have a way of affecting everyone, but how exactly do they work? A sanction is essentially a way to pressure a country. They are decisions made by a nation to change its relationship with a target country, and are used for a variety of reasons, from punishment to forcing or preventing action.
The ANC leaders are rich, and they will make sure they do not lack anything, even if the rest of us will go without. If the globalist like Rob Herzog is not fully pushing white genocide, they then run around to foreign countries and act against South Africa and all of us who are supposed to be his countrymen, while never outwardly saying that there is clearly no genocide. They let people keep believing that there is, because it suits their goal. So they can push for more power and riches because no one is in charge. They run to the US and still expect people to believe that they are patriots and view the rest of us as their countrymen as they look to destroy the nation for their own ends and rip it apart. Those who say that maybe the country should be ripped apart know nothing of history and are falling for a rich man's trick. They will become a globalist slave. Rob Herzog would be very glad to do that for you. Him and his friends, or should I say, his brotherhood. Why the globalists must fail. The globalists are traitors. They pretend to be working on behalf of South African citizens. They are fake conservatives using conservatism to manufacture consent. They are enemies of South Africa and its people because they would lie about us to their friends in the empire and see the country ripped apart if it meant they could become rich. I actually wish Rob was for real, because he's actually the sort of person who can do something. Unfortunately, he is a globalist and a true example of the globalist types that will gladly see this country hollowed and turned into a labor and resource hub. This is why his faction must fail. If you dare, buy us a coffee. The link is in the description.
Why are you running? Why are you running?